The news day continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The country's trade deficit narrowed to a three-month low of $4.4 billion in May. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority show that exports grew by 1.9% to $6.44 billion. Imports also saw an 8.8% dip to $10.84 billion in May. According to ING Bank senior economist Nicky Mapa, exports managed to surprise with a sharp recovery in electronic shipments. Mapa noted that the narrow trade deficit suggests less pressure on the Philippine peso to weaken. New vehicle sales have increased in June according to a joint report by the Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines and Truck Manufacturers Association. The report showed that over 36,000 new vehicles were sold in June, some 27% more than those sold in the same month of last year. However, this is still nearly 5% less than the new vehicles sold in May 2023. Around 8,900 passenger cars were sold in June, a 20% annual increase, but an 8% decline from May 2023. Meanwhile, year-on-year commercial vehicle sales jumped by 29%, while month-on-month sales declined by almost 4%. This annual increase is attributed to improving consumer spending for big-ticket items. Auto Group see this as a signal of sustained optimism for the industry. They also expressed hope that 2023 sales will be achieved or even exceeded. In other news, the member nations of the European Union reaffirmed the Philippines' claim on the South China Sea, saying that the international arbitral ruling is legally binding. The EU countries issued a statement calling the arbitral award a useful basis for peacefully resolving disputes between concerned parties. The statement comes on the 7th anniversary of the Hague ruling, which invalidated China's claim over almost the entire South China Sea. The EU also reiterated the fundamental importance of upholding the freedoms, rights, and duties established in the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. On the anniversary of the ruling, the Foreign Affairs Department announced the launch of a microsite to provide a central resource of official information of the award. The DFA said the award conclusively settled the issue of historic rights and maritime entitlements in the disputed waters. The agency said arbitral ruling also rendered any claims beyond UNCLOS limits without legal effect. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. SM North EDSA apologizes to the public after one of its security guards threw a puppy from a footbridge. In a statement, the mall said that an investigation on the matter is underway. They also noted that the guard has been dismissed and will no longer be allowed to service any SM mall in the country. The puppy was allegedly thrown because its owners, two minors, refused to leave the footbridge. The animal was brought to a veterinarian but was pronounced dead on arrival. Despite the implementation of the SIM registration law, authorities have seen a spike in SIM-aided crimes. Data from the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group shows that SIM-aided crimes jumped to over 4,000 so far in 2023. That's a 200% increase from the same period in the previous year. Authorities say this may be due to scammers working double time ahead of the SIM registration deadline on July 25. President Bongbong Marcos signed the SIM registration law in hopes to curb the number of phishing and online scamming cases in the country. The Senate is targeting the passage of a measure imposing a value-added tax or VAT on digital services like Netflix and Disney+. Senator Win Gatchalian says this measure will allow the government to collect up to 145 billion pesos in VAT from 2024 to 2028. Gatchalian, who chairs the Senate Committee on Ways and Means, said his panel is finalizing the VAT on digital services and is targeting to pass it within the year. He clarified, though, that this is, quote, not a new tax measure. He says the problem is a supposed gap in the country's tax code, as it does not cover non-residents and foreign firms. And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News. All sides, all the time.